Rule smelled his oldest brother before he saw him. Benedict didn't smell of any special alarm, however, so Rule continued with the ceremony, even as part of his mind wondered what had brought Benedict here, away from the row. It was unlikely to be good news. But only part of his mind, the man part. Most of him was wrapped in the sheer immediacy of the world, the feel of grass and dirt beneath the pads of his feet, the ruffled texture of sounds made by the people surrounding him and the Kiffin Row. He wanted to run, for the sheer joy of running, but the man part of him wasn't entirely eclipsed. The terms of the alliance had been announced while Rule and Jasper were two-footed, but their agreement was meaningless without the submission. Rule waited, motionless, as the Kiffin Row approached. Jasper was a handsome wolf, slighter and sleeker than Rule, with a brownish dun coat and yellow eyes that reminded Rule of Cullen's wolf form. He was faster than greased lightning from what Rule remembered of their youthful tussles, and every bit as alpha as a row must be. Submission did not come easily for him. Jasper also had an unfortunate tendency to lose himself in the wolf, which was why, when he reached Rule, his hackles were raised, and the scent of Siru was strong, and why he immediately flopped down belly up like a puppy waiting for a rub. Decidedly anticlimactic. Rule lowered his head to sniff the offered belly. He found a little fear scent amid the Siru, the wolf smell, and Jasper's individual scent, but not the mingled stink that spoke of guilt. Having accepted the submission, Rule stepped back, and the ritual was complete. By not ripping out that offered belly, he'd accepted that Jasper had played no part in the attack on his father, restoring Jasper's honor in the eyes of the clans. In return, Kiffin would subordinate itself to Nokolai for a year and a day. Usually at this point, there'd be a general shifting, as some members of both clans, mostly the younger ones, took the opportunity to socialize in wolf form. Rule had expected to stay in this form to act as host and make sure the play didn't turn rough, but instead he sought the source of his brother's scent and found Benedict standing at the front of the circle of watchers next to Rule's clothes. Benedict made the small circular gesture that said, "Change." With regret, Rule opened himself. In seconds he stood naked on 2 feet, with his head higher off the ground than before, and the world blunted to all senses except vision. Jasper had sprung to his feet and was regarding Rule with his head tipped quizzically.
I'm sorry, Benedict has need of me, but please, enjoy the friendship of Nokolai in whichever form pleases you.
Rule glanced around, caught the eye of one of the older counselors, and made the same gesture Benedict did. The man's eyes widened slightly, but he shifted obediently. Seth could serve as four-footed host, a necessity as well as a courtesy. Seth could keep the younger Nokolai in line. They were accustomed to obeying him. Jasper glanced at the counselor wolf, at Benedict, and back at Rule. He nodded and sat, waiting for Seth to trot over. Rule hurried across the lawn to Benedict.
What?
Rule caught the clothes his brother tossed him.
Your detective needs to go back to the city right away.
A hint of a smile ghosted across Benedict's blunt features.
She wasn't happy at being told she had to wait for your return.
Rule stepped into his jeans.
What happened?
A phone call. There's been another murder.
Damn.
He zipped the jeans and stamped one foot into a shoe.
Damn it all to hell.
He was supposed to take Toby to the creek. He'd counted on that. Toby was counting on it too. This sudden departure was a bitter disappointment, but unavoidable. He started for the house at a trot. Bystanders, both 2- and 4-legged, saw him coming and moved out of the way, watching with startled curiosity as Rule and Benedict moved into an easy run.
Toby?
Our father said he would explain to the boy. He won't let Nettie put him in sleep until he's spoken with him. You have your own explanations to make. To your chosen. Eisen told her about the connection between the citizenship bill, the attack on him, and the murder she's investigating. After she told him you aren't a suspect anymore. She has evidence.
She what?
Rule should have been relieved, but the first flush of feeling that hit was anger.
Get a hold of yourself. By speaking of the conspiracy to her, Eisen lifted his ban on revealing anything to the police. I'm free to decide how much to tell her now.
Would she lie about the evidence?
I don't know. I don't think so, but how can I be sure? I'm learning her as quickly as I can, but I don't know her yet.
I suppose not. Our father likes her.
That lifted Rule's heart slightly. He'd known why Eisen sent for Lily, of course. Benedict would have told him about her, and his father wanted to meet Rule's chosen. The Row needed to assess one who, little though she knew it, would soon be part of his clan. Or so Rule prayed.